So let's start with the first question that doesn't have anything to do with Jani Dushman, I'm presuming.
Yay! Great movie.
It's a great film. It is. It is. An easy one, I think, for people presumably who've seen the film we're talking about. This gentleman. Wait.
So, like the question says, this British actor plays Quentin Lance in this popular comic book series called Arrow. Which famous movie would you have seen him in? Somebody said Jani Dushman. That's not the right answer.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. Yes, Ekalavya or Saurabh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it is Lagan.
That's right, Saurabh.
Lagan is the correct answer. It was a pretty easy one for people who have seen Lagan, of course, can instantly remember this gentleman. That's Paul Blackthorne, played Captain Andrew Russell.
Any fun facts about Lagan would like panelists like to share, or Manas will also raise his hand. Go ahead, Manas.
So one fun fact I have about this movie is both Ashutosh Gawariker, who was the director of this movie, and Amir Khan, they both have been associated with another cricket movie before this. I've forgot the exact name of the movie. I think it was some like Devanand was also in that.
Awal Number.
Awal Number.
Absolutely. Yes.
And Ashutosh Gawariker was also as an actor in that movie.
Did Ashutosh have his hair then or not?
Fortunately or unfortunately, he had.
Yeah, no. I've seen him in some of the films earlier on when he had a head full of hair, actually.
Our number is the movie where Devanand plays the BCCI board, the president of BCCI, right?
Yes.
And Cindy Crawford is his wife or the mother.
Is the mother, yes.
I remember that. Yeah.
I remember that he only smoked Sobrane cigarettes. Wow. Those were the colorful cigarettes.
Wait, so Cindy Crawford is dead and they have her...
Yes.
They have the photograph there, right?
Yeah. With a blue ribbon around her.
Love Bollywood, always.
Devanand, not Bollywood doesn't necessarily...
And the fun part is, even in Awal Number, Amir Khan hits a six off the last ball to win the match for India.
Nice.
Yeah. So he did that before Lagan.
Two trivia I would like to share.
Hello.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, this movie was highly inspired by Naya Daur. The only thing is that the chariot race was... Chariot versus the bus race was shifted to cricket match. The storyline is totally inspired by Naya Daur. And second is that the era when 1893 is showed, it is shown in the movie in 1893. At that time, six was not allowed. It was out only when you used to catch outside the boundary. That is a big error actually.
Interesting. Thank you for that fun fact.
I want to share a trivia.
Go ahead, Saurabh.
The song Ore Gori Maine Pyar Tuji Se Kiya, that English part, the opera part is written by Farhan Akhtar and Zoya Akhtar.
Oh.
Interesting. I did not know that. Oh yeah, you mean the lyrics, right? The English part of the lyrics. That is right.
It's sung by Vasundhara Das, I believe.
Yeah.
I want to share a small trivia. So there were two movies that released on the same day. One is Lagan, the other is Gadar, which released on 15th August of the same year. So
it was not 15th August. 15 June. May or June.
15 June. Yeah, my bad. But Gadar and Lagan released on the same day. So एक ने क्रिकेट खेल के दिल जीता, दूसरे ने तो मतलब हैंड पंप ही उखाड़ दिया टाइप. So
and of course Gadar beat Lagan hugely. Like it was a much bigger hit than Lagan was in the box office.
Yes, very much.
One more trivia I want to say. Sorry if this I'm taking too much time, but one more trivia. That the Lagan was in Oscars, and the film which won the Oscars, that director made one film called Tigers, starring Imran Hashmi.
That's right.
That is true.
Okay, the second question. Which 2016 Bollywood song was inspired by the warning label on cigarette packets? Basically, the lyricist was stuck. He unsuccessfully tried to compare the father to Hitler and the devil in the song. He got an aha moment when he stepped out for a cigarette break.
Why are gold flakes referred to as honeydew smooth? We should have that as a trivia question also.
I think it's taken from a famous English poem, Asim. I don't remember the name of the poem, but the line "honeydew" comes from a poem. It's inspired by that.
Okay.
Yeah. The other interesting fact about the gold flake packets or the cigarette packets in India is the statutory warning image that you see is actually using an image of John Terry, the English footballer.
Yeah. I remember that controversy. Yeah.
Yes. Pounce is closed, so let's move to somebody who's not answered till now. Devasmita, going to you. I think you've joined in from Delhi.
Yeah, hi. So is this the song from Dangal, Bapu Sehat ke liye tu hanikarak hai?
And that is the correct answer.
Very impressed.
The lyricist, of course, is Amitav Bhattacharya.
Initially, he wanted to have lyrics which compare the father to Hitler or to Shaitan. And then he went out for a cigarette break, and then he came back and he decided to use the phrase Hanikarak Bapu, which is a very interesting song talking about how much they hate their father. Asim, you had an interesting connection between Dangal and the movie that we should have in the next slide.
What's the movie? The next slide. Yeah, I don't know if people realize that toward the end of Dangal, when Amer is sort of locked up because he's interfering a lot. The only way he realizes his daughter has won is he hears the Indian national anthem, and I can't remember if he sees a flag going up. That was lifted directly from Chariots of Fire. If you guys have not seen Chariots of Fire, it's one of the finest British films ever made. I think won the Oscar for the best film in 1981. It won in 1982. But there's a scene toward the end of it. Ian Holm, he's one of the trainers, and the only way he realizes that the person who's training has won. This is the Olympics, of course. He's locked up in his room also for a different reason, and he hears the British national anthem, and then he sees the British flag going up. It's a very dramatic moment. So I thought it was such a great scene in Chariots of Fire. I'm like, oh my God, Dangal mein copy kar diya yaar inhone scene. Chalta hai Bollywood.
That's a really interesting fact, Asim, connecting Chariots of Fire and Dangal. We never would have imagined that.
I've lived with this information in my head for so long. I think this is the first time I'm sharing it with anyone.
Any other fun facts from the participants? Please go ahead.
Well, I mean, Dangal, of course, it's a fun fact note to all of how China opened as a box office market after the release of this film.
In a big way.
Amer made 2,300 crore eventually out of all the project. Of course, you get a very small percentage. If you release a film in China, they keep most of it. They give you a very, very small number from that. But even that small number is much bigger than whatever he made from the theatrical release here in India. He's huge in China, largely because of Three Idiots. That movie really traveled hugely on the internet. I've been to if you go to the Asian side of Turkey, everyone has seen Three Idiots, and obviously largely on the internet. And that's when they realized, and they started calling him Uncle Me. He's called Uncle Me in China, even Secret Superstar. That also did some 600 crore plus. Was one of the biggest international hit of that year. So that's the level of fame that he has, clarity he has in China, and then that showed with the success of Dangal, of course. Any reason, guys, why you think Dangal did so well in China? I mean, besides Amir Khan, of course. I mean, my pop culture theory was that he, as a father, he is training these two daughters, and he couldn't give a shit about what their life is like. He's just making sure that they win in the tournament, which is like as of a Hanikarak Bapu of a father. And that's precisely what the Chinese do in their sports system. They actually come to families and they pick up kids, and they just train them to win Olympics. So maybe they saw a connection between this father and the Chinese state, and the communist state, that really screws you over.
Not just sports, Mayank. I think there is extreme pressure on children and teenagers to perform. I mean, it's a very, very competitive society when you have such a huge population pool there, and jobs limited and everything else, and college admission. So there's a lot of pressure, and the parents really, really build up. And it's all across Asia. I mean, there are cram schools in Korea and in Japan.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that these are the countries where some of these films of Amer and then even Raju Hirani did rather well.
Three Idiots was precisely that theme, right?
Right.
About being in that system and
Right. So I don't think Amer or anybody would have guessed it when they were making the film that there was a possibility these films would do rather well once.
No, I mean I did pose this theory to Amer, and his point was that there's something very Asian about this emotion, and that's why it strikes a chord. But I mean, there's something Asian about the emotion of lots of movies we've done, but this one really freaking caught Chinese imagination in ways that we could have never imagined.
Amer, we were talking about Lagan earlier, and I just remember this little detail. Amer was so keen that Lagan would sell in the American market, and Sony Picture Classics actually bought the rights to it, and they did a 1 week run in New York, and it was okay, but it wasn't any earth-shattering kind of box office. Amer was so keen that he actually, what he did was he decided, because Hollywood, Americans are not used to songs. So they actually did a version of the film where they cut all the songs out and said, let's see. And then Amer himself, even before he experimented that, he said this film is not going to work without the songs. So they put all the songs back, which sort of definitely makes sense. So
Nitish, you had something to share as well.
So I don't know if dollar value holds to it right now, but when Dangal had crossed 2,000 crores figure, it actually become the most grossing sports movie of all time in the world.
Oh, really?
At that time.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't know. Now the dollar is 75. So maybe if we hold the yuan value, now if we hold the yuan value, maybe yuan value still might be the world number 1 sports movie.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Nitish, for that. Going to Fahad.
So not a Dangal fact, but an Amitabh Bhattacharya fact. So he was working on Lutera and Ye Jawani Hai Diwani simultaneously. So in the song Ankahi, where the lines go, Sukhi Siyahi Deti Hai Gawahi, he actually wanted to write Tuti Surahi, which Motwane did not like. So he used the word Surahi while writing Kabira for Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, where it goes, Mitti Ki Surahi Rasta Dekhe.
Oh, nice one.
Wow.
Nice one.
Nice. Thanks, Fahad. And one last time, we'll go to Sumukh, who had something interesting to share as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, what Mayank and I think Asim were mentioning, that 3 Idiot movie resonated quite well with the Chinese audience because of they could see the discipline and the rigor, basically the entire school or university setup, which is very popular, complemented with the fact that China is still under a lot of censorship. So most of the Hollywood movies do not get screened in public theaters. But Bollywood, there is no censorship. And that is why I think after 3 Idiots, the Bollywood became a huge market. And now Amir Khan has become the most sellable face, which is why I think the Secret Superstar did more well there as you come rather than.
Yeah.
Like 5 times over.
Yeah.
Great. Sohan, I think we can move to the next question. Yes. Which 3 epic 1977 movie did Preet Bharara find to be such a comfort watch when he heard of the Biden and Kamala Harris victory recently? So there's a famous Hindi movie that Preet Bharara recently watched after Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's victory, and he asked his followers that have they seen the movie as well. Lots of interesting answers, from Sholay to Mera Naam Joker to Mother India, Guide, Wall Street, someone says. Kissa Kulsika is a very, very interesting guest, Sai Milan. Yeah. Go ahead, Asim.
About Sholay, actually, well, although that's not the correct answer to this particular question, the follow-up tweet he did was, he asked people, and what did you think of Sholay? So he did bring up Sholay later, but this was a separate film he talked about.
Shrimi, some really interesting answers also coming in on chat, including Shatranj Ke Khiladi and Dor.
I don't think Preet Bharara knows what Shatranj Ke Khiladi is. I mean, I have a lot of respect for him. There might be some correct answers also, by the way.
You clearly have a lot of respect for him. He can't know.
Preet Bharara is great, man. He was a smart guy, and Donald Trump fired him, so that makes him even greater.
Why can't you know Shatranj Ke Khiladi, according to you?
It's not in that, he's an immigrant. He was very young when he arrived there, and his only, really, Preet Bharara although he's a Punjabi origin and he he's obviously Indian American, but his exposure to Indian culture beyond the big popular culture, as this particular film that we are talking about belongs to, my senses is very limited. I'm not being condescending. It's just something my sense. I met the guy. I'm not. Anyway, let's move on.
Sure.
I think only Indian American movie we should all concentrate on is Ab Lord Chale, which has that song also. Suman Ranganathan dancing, where she's like, "Haseenon se haseen hai yahan ki ladkiyan." It's about American women. It's a great song, great movie. Sadly, that is not the answer because it didn't release in 1977. But I'm sure if Preet Bharara knew, he would be watching that movie.
I'm sure Rishi Kapoor had a lot of regrets in his life, but one of his regrets was that he actually directed that film, and he swore that he'll never direct a film after this.
Yeah, that topped the RK ban.
Was it the only movie he ever directed, Asim?
No, Lord Chale.
Hina, na? Also?
Yes.
No.
It was his only film.
This is the only film Rishi directed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recently met the lead actor of the film, Akshay Khanna, and he was telling me about how he really gave hell to poor Rishi Kapoor. Like he was a brat on the set. Not too many people admit to that, but I guess after so many years you can. Like, he just gave him hell.
So giving Rishi Kapoor hell is like fascinating.
Yeah. I would love to see that.
One of the most difficult, God bless his soul and everything else, but he was one of the most difficult persons, and I knew him, quote unquote, fairly well. Boy, was he difficult.
I mean, you can see how happy Neetu is right now. So it's okay.
All right, so what's the answer, guys?
Sure. Well, let's go to Aditya. You've not answered so far. Go ahead, Aditya. Just 1 second, Sohan. Yeah.
So I think the answer, is it Amar Akbar Anthony by any chance?
Any reasons why you guess that?
One was the year 1977, and that was one reason. And another thing is, I think probably he was referring to maybe one film which is kind of throwback to the quintessential Bollywood entertainer or something like that. And I mean, one was because that is only what I could think of. Another film I had thought of was maybe Chacha Bhatija, but I don't know. Somehow I thought probably this could be like the maybe.
Yes, that's absolutely right. You get points for that. Thank you, Aditya, for that answer. So yes, that is what Preet Bharara was watching. And immediately after that, like Asim said, Asim, do you want to talk about what he posted after that?
Well, it says here, okay, I just finished. So then after that, he sat and watched Sholay. I don't know how many hours was he awake that day or evening. I guess the results were announced. It was noon time in New York. So Preet had the whole day to sit and watch Bollywood. And then he was going to watch Naseeb and Dharamveer. So I'm fairly impressed. So he might also know Chacha Bhatija. But I think Amar Akbar Anthony stands the test of time. I mean, that's one film that anybody who's had any connection with the India, diaspora, whatever it is, that's a film people remember. Largely because of Amitabh, but it was such a big Rishi Kapoor. I went for his book launch in Delhi, and he had this very, very funny, I can't even remember the whole thing, but he narrated the whole incident. He was somewhere in Kashmir or someplace, and Manmohan Desai called him, and the trunk call was placed, and then Manmohan Desai is trying to explain to him that these three brothers who are lost, and then they all get together and they donate the blood to their mother together and all of those kind of things. And so Rishi completely ridiculed the film, really, although he got a lot of fame from it when it was made. I thought Rishi Kapoor was a lot of fun in this film. The Qawwali sequence that he does, it's fantastic.
I thought the Nirupa Roy part was the best part in any Bollywood movie ever. I can't forget that. Yeah.
All right, you get that.
Are you talking about the one where they donate blood?
Yeah.
No, where she gets her eyesight back.
Yeah, from Sai Baba's eyes.
Yes.
And then like she bangs her head on something and then she gets, and there's this whole sequence with the diya from Sai Baba's eyes going into hers and like lighting it up. Oh my God, it's just.
Fahad also just mentioned the lasers from Sai Baba to Nirupa Roy.
Yep.
what people forget is, Shabana Azmi was in this film, and this is the time where this is about 4 or 5 years after Ankur, and Shabana had done a whole bunch of other sort of films, and including she had sort of gotten into Bollywood, but she was really trying to define herself. And she's a pickpocket in this film, right? And is arrested by the cop, Amar, and they fall in love. So yeah, it's hard to recognize that is the Shabana Azmi that we know now.
A lot of interesting facts on chat from the participants. Mohit says that Manmohan Desai got the idea for the film while reading newspaper article where he's read about a man dumping his 3 children.
Wow.
The other interesting fact we've asked about this in our earlier quizzes is that my name is Anthony Gonzalez is actually a reference to a real life musician. Can anybody guess which part of this country Anthony Gonzalez was from?
Not Goa? No?
Yes.
Was it Goa?
Yes, it is Goa. Yes, absolutely.
How many points do I get?
You get 100 points.
That was easy, man. Anyway.
Let's go to one of the participants. Rajan, go ahead.
Hi. So there were 2 things. I think there was one, they wanted to do a female version of this. I don't know, I think it was in talks in the late 80s or something like that, and it was discontinued for some reason. And another fact, I don't know about the Andy Roberts cricket question. So I've read in a couple of articles that the movie became popular in the West Indies region because of the mention of Andy Roberts. So if any of the panelists think, is there any merit to it, or is it just, one of those creations? So just talk.
Legends, I guess.
Mayank, do you know anything about it?
Well, I mean, in terms of, well, not trivia, but I think I have a funny story on Rishi Kapoor actually. And, this one time I was at a bar and it was a very loud place, and he calls me up at around 1 o'clock at night, and I have like some 8 missed calls from him, which is really bizarre. So I leave that place, get downstairs from that place, which was very loud, and I asked him, hey, Mr. Kapoor, you called, and he's like, very happily trashed. And this is right when the movie Rockstar had come out. And in the review, I'd written something to the effect of never since Amitabh Bachchan and Hrithik Roshan have we had an actor, and of course referring to Ranbir Kapoor, who's as good an actor as he's a freaking superstar material, right? And he read out that line to me, and then there was a silence between us on the phone, and then he said, "Bhanchu, beta to mera hai."
बेटे को जब claim करना होता तो बेटे को claim करता था, otherwise the बाप बेटा hardly spoke to each other.
and I should have mentioned that in the next movie that he did, which was based on, should have said Rishi Kapoor's son. He would have liked that.
Rishi Kapoor was
an amazing character. Was an amazing
character.
Yeah.
I went drinking with him in New York in a bar one time, and it was just really, it gets very awkward after a while because you have to keep praising him. I have so many Rishi Kapoor, because I realized that the first time I met Rishi Kapoor was I had lunch with him at the Royal China Garden or whatever it is called in Bandra.
China Garden.
Yeah, China Garden. And I was in complete awe of Ranbir, and I'm praising his son, and I realized that Rishi was so competitive with his son. that you cannot keep praising the son while you forget that so you had to. I have stories of Rishi Kapoor. It's like really, he had my phone number and he would suddenly call me. So I'll give one thing. We're just digressing a lot. Barack Obama was visiting India, and he was at the 26th January Republic Day parade in Delhi. And so it was morning in India, it was night in New York, and I'm sitting there, and my phone would ring, and I would see Rishi Kapoor. I'm like, holy shit, why is he calling me again? Hello, Azeem, Rishi Kapoor here. I'm like, yeah, I can see it's Rishi Kapoor here. Are tum to TV dekh rahe hoge? I said, I couldn't tell him that I didn't even have cable. I had just cut off my cable. Either TV dekho, tumhara president aaya hua hai. And again, I started trying to explain to him that actually, in America, people don't care about foreign policy. If Barack Obama sort of travels to some foreign country, it's not the biggest news, really. So he said, dekho. Then I said, actually, there might be some articles that have been written on on Obama's visit. So I said, if you want, I can send you some links to the articles. Okay. Now I hope people won't get offended, but this is what Rishi Kapoor said to me. I said, मैं आपको link भेजता हूँ, आप पढ़ लो. अरे balls यार, कौन पढ़ेगा? That's what he said to me. Let's move on.
Wow, there's some really incredible stories from the panelists. There was an interesting trivia shared by Sai Milan, who said that Jaya Bachchan, apparently not being a fan of remakes, always told Ketan Desai to remake the film with Akshay Khanna, Abhishek Bachchan, and Ranbir Kapoor. That's an interesting idea right there.
Nepotism rocks.
Nepotism rocks, yes. Let's go to one last time. Anantita Das, she has an interesting fact to share. If not, we'll just go to Abratej, I'm sorry.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Right.
Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Netherlands actually, but I'm from Odisha in India.
Wow. Oh, nice. Okay.
So in Veer Das, the comedian's newest special on India, which he released on 26 January this year, he makes a list of different things that foreigners should see or know about India to know what India is about. And that's where he mentions Amar Akbar Anthony as one of the movies, quintessential Indian films to watch to understand Indian culture. So my theory is that maybe that's where Mr. Preet Bharara got the idea to watch this movie.
No, Preet.
From the Vitas.
Preet grew up in a Indian American household, and the only thing about India these Indian Americans really know is some quintessential Bollywood cinema. So he must have watched it when he was a kid or a teenager.
Okay.
Yeah, because this thing is going down memory lane.
Hi guys, this is Anandita. So I had two trivias about the music of the film. Both are related to songs. So one of them is, of course, the first part in the whole song of Anthony Gonzalez. There's a small, thing that he says in the entire fast forward mode, which is taken from a speech by Benjamin Disraeli.
Right.
So
yes.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
And there is one word which has been changed. Instead of, I think, infuriation, he used intoxication. Other than that, every word of the speech is same. And then excuse me, and then the song starts. So that's one bit. And the other is my favorite song from the movie is Tayya Bali Pyar Ka Dushman Hai Hai. So that has been recreated on Imran Khan in Once Upon a Time in Mumbai Dobara.
Yeah.
So Javed Bashir singing Tayya Bali Pyar Ka Dushman, which was originally sung by Rafi Saab. So yeah.
Oh wow.
These are the two things.
Those are two great fun facts from Ananta. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Amar Akbar Anthony was released in 1977 due to emergency, and Manmohan Desai's 4 films released that year. Due to emergency, they all shifted to that same year on 1977, and all were blockbusters: Dharamveer, Parvarish, Chacha Bhatija, and Amar Akbar Anthony.
Amazing.
And one more thing I want to say, Shrimi was talking about that Sai Baba scene where that light appears, Jyoti appears.
Yes.
That is actually a technique in screenplay writing, I think, Deus ex machina. That means time of machine, where something happens, like something resolves in the screenplay automatically. So, hum aapke kaun, that
Also act of God, but okay.
Act of God, yeah. Yeah, that means Deus ex machina means a god from a machine.
Okay. Are you calling Sai Baba a god from a machine? Oh my God. Getting controversial.
Even in Hum Aapke Kaun, that Tuffy scene in climax, that is also can consider as Deus ex.
I'm sorry, that is the greatness of Tuffy. There is absolutely nothing else that can explain that Radhe Krishna, Gopal Krishna jump he does from the stairs on the beats. That too. What a dog! Very talented.
Nitish Bhasin has a very interesting fact here about Rishi Kapoor getting a higher billing than Amitabh in Amar Akbar Anthony. Is that true?
I'm just going to check with Nitin.
Maybe they did it because Amar is Vinod Khanna, Akbar is Rishi, and Anthony is
Acha, from that point of view, acha, haan. So
I'm just assuming.
So maybe they started with Vinod Khanna then probably. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, it's just weird.
No, Rishi was a star by own count, but yeah, there was Amitabh Bachchan. Of course. Yeah, there was Amitabh Bachchan, and then the rest.
Nitish, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, basically that was the only time out of the 10 plus movies they acted together. Rishi Kapoor's name came before Amitabh Bachchan in the opening credits, and yeah.
And this was a remake in the UK. Not a remake; they just took the title actually.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I think this whatever this is. Both Akbar Anthony and Amar Akbar and Tony are on Netflix. It's just weird, but sure, why not?
It has Meera Sayal in it. I find that absolutely hilarious. Just for her, I would watch the film.
Take the next question. Poonam and Priyanka are dancers who specialize in B-fusion, a mix of Bharatanatyam, hip-hop, and Bollywood. They were cast in a movie after the director discovered their Instagram page. In which 2018 movie did we see them?
It's almost disturbing that how many people know this.
Yeah. I guess their look is a giveaway, but then I think in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, these are long shots. There's never a close-up of these two.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they appear only at the beginning, or they appear a few times in the film?
All through.
Yes, they appear all through. Yes, they do. They're
like a motive across.
Yeah.
Aditi Merchant had a very logical guess. She said ABCD 2.
That would make sense, but
that would make sense. Yes.
Alas.
Student of the Year is another guess, and of course, Happy New Year was also another guess. Great. Pounds is closed. Let's go to Prasad Shetty. Go ahead, Prasad.
Yeah, hi. This is, I think, Man Marziyan, the Anurag Kashyap directed movie. Is it right? Hello?
Yes. That's absolutely right.
Yes.
That's a correct answer.
Did you watch the movie, Prasad? Can you tell us where in the movie they appear?
I think towards the beginning.
They appear in a song. I forget the song, but I think they remember. I remember seeing them in that song.
Shade, I think.
Yeah. So all the songs were beautiful. Amit Trivedi showed his genius in this movie. So yeah, I don't remember the song,
But the first time they appear is toward the beginning of the film itself. I remember when when the credits are coming in, we're just sort of going through the motion of sort of seeing the whole mood of it. You know, to Anurag Kashyap's credit, really, I mean, he's really very good in bringing any kind of new, raw, fascinating talent. I mean, Anurag does that again and again. I mean, he's obviously opened the opportunity for so many, directors and lyricists and things like that, and actors. But this is something that Anurag would immediately capture when he's sort of doing a film set in Amritsar in Punjab. It's great, I think.
I think the amazing fact about this particular film is that it was originally being directed, and there were 10 days that they shot this film. Shanu Sharma was the casting agent. Her brother Sameer Sharma, who made that film Love Shav Chicken Khurana. That was his debut film. So there was Bhumi Pednekar and there was Ayushmann Khurrana. They shot this film in Amritsar for 10 days. And then the movie got shelved because the producer had a difference. I mean, there was some issue between the writer, Kanika Dhillon, the producer, that's Anand Rai, and the director, that's Sameer Sharma. Ayushmann Khurrana was playing the part in that original film that Abhishek eventually played, and Bhumi, of course, what Taapsee did. So there's actually footage of a film called Marziya, yes, because they're shot for considerable.
There are pictures on the internet. They were recently shared, I think, on Twitter only, which had Bhumi and Ayushmann looking intense. But I think Abhishek Bachchan. I mean, I love Ayushmann Khurrana as an actor. I think he's very, very cool. But Abhishek really was nice in this movie. It suited him.
It suited him
a lot. Like, I don't think Ayushmann would do it as well as this guy did. Maybe because of the maturity, I don't know. But it was nice.
I remember Abhishek first posted that, this is before the film was released, the look of the Sardar, look of his, the pagadi and thing. And Amitabh tweeted that your grandmother would be very proud because Amitabh's mother was a Sardarni, Teji Bachchan. So That was very nice.
Yeah. Amitabh Bachchan, very encouraging father, much unlike Rishi Kapoor. Somebody had done a very funny tweet long time ago where Amitabh Bachchan had praised Abhishek Bachchan's performance on Twitter, and something Rishi Kapoor had put like one very random one line about Ranbir Kapoor's performances. And somebody had tweeted, look at these two fathers, like look at the difference between them on social media.
But if Ranbir had success, as Mayank pointed out earlier, Rishi would want to take credit for that.
Want to, yeah.
Yes, yes.
But
let's go to somebody who has some fun facts about this film.
Manas, you want to take Manas Barpande?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just one second.
So Anurag Kashyap had also dedicated the movie to Amrita Pritam in the opening credits also, because it's speculated that the movie was based on the love triangle of Amrita, Imroz, and Sahir. And even when the movie in the halftime, Taapsee, like when they get married, the Taapsee says the lines of Amrita Pritam's famous poetry, "Main tenu fir milangi."
It's possible, although
it is true. It's a great fact.
Although the film reminded me so much of Hum Dil Le Chuke Sonam.
Yeah.
Thanks, Manas, for that really great fact. Shireen also is here. Shireen, if you can share what you've shared with us on the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So Anurag Kashyap also used a similar format of having dancers come in at random points in the movie in Dev D. And there was this group of 3 dancers, I think I forget their names, but they would come in, and there was this popular song called O Pardesi that they performed on, and Sali Khushi, and they would come in at different points. So, yeah. Basically, he used the same
Fayaz
format
actually
before.
mentioned their name. They're called Twilight Players. You can actually look them up online.
Yeah.
The group is called Twilight Players, and you see them dancing like Shireen said in the Pardesi song. Absolutely right. Thank you, Shireen, for sharing that. Just going one last time to...
So, Anindita has had I don't know how many of you guys know what the English title for this film was.
Would you like to take a guess in chat? Others will go to Anindita.
Hi. I think I'm going to be recurring. I'm a huge Bolly fanatic. I teach and study films as well. So, yeah. Anyway, coming to the English title was really funny. I mean, it was called, we always use the wife material for us women more. But the movie title in English was husband material. So, quite interesting, Like, I really like the title.
Yeah, similarly, there were one more dancing twins in a film called Goonj, and they were kept just to dance in the film. They were brothers, twin brothers, and they were also amazing dancers. I think this was in late 80s Kumar Gaurav film Goonj.
Is that the movie that Jalal Agha directed? Would that be correct? Was Goonj the film?
Yeah. Jalal Agha was a part of that film. I don't.
He's the director. It has an amazing song, Sama Ye Hai Suhana, that Hardy had done in that film.
No. Sama Ye Suhana is a different. That's
from Goonj.
No, it's a Rakesh Roshan film, yaar.
Akele Hum Hai, Akele Tum.
Sama Hai Suhana. That was Sama Hai Suhana.
That's not the song I'm talking about.
No.
It's a different song I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sama Ye Hai Suhana, Akele Hum Hai.
Okay.
That's from Goonj.
This film was about drugs. This was based on a topic of drugs. And there was a famous song called Suta Maro Suta, where these two brothers had danced, twin brothers.
Correct. Yeah. There was, if I'm not mistaken, an element of Goa liberation in that same film. It's set around the liberation of Goa, or what's called the independence of Goa from India, if I'm not mistaken. That's the movie.
I had no idea Jalal Agha had directed a film.
Yes. So for those of you interested, Mayank is talking about the 1989 movie Goonj, which is also set in the backdrop of the political activism in Goa. Great, so I think we can move to the next question.
Yaha, Shudji Sarkar's debut set in Kashmir, Seher, a cult film about UP politics, both released on July 29, 2005 and failed at the box office due to bad luck. Why did these two movies flop?
If you don't know the answer, you can always give us funny answers as well. as to why do you think these two movies flopped?
I think the lot here is very competitive. I don't think anyone's going for money. They really want to win this.
They take their Bollywood very seriously.
Yeah.
Mayawati came to power. That's an interesting answer as to why two Bollywood films would fail.
Yeah. I can completely believe that. They clashed.
Says both heroes were actually side actors. Please.
They clashed with the Salman Khan films. I like that one.
Mangal Pandey beat them both.
Mangal Pandey also flopped only.
Yeah.
I liked Mangal Pandey.
I like the song. This song Rani is dancing to.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they're getting the year right though. I think Mangal Pandey would also be 2005. Right?
Yeah. What was the standout of movie of 2005? Bunty or Bubbly? No.
Yeah, that was a big movie that year.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Rupal. Go ahead, Rupal.
Yeah, hi. Is this the Mumbai flooding? 26 July, infamous Mumbai flooding, and maybe anything which came after that was like no chance. I'm just guessing the date.
That's absolutely right. Points to you, Rupal. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some very sad memories of that day.
I think a good connection that can be made with Yaha is with Chernobyl, the HBO miniseries. Everyone can watch if they haven't on Hotstar. And what connects Yaha and Chernobyl is that they have the same cinematographer, Jakob Ire. The same person shot both. Jakob Ire is a Swedish cinematographer who shot Shri Sarkar's directorial.
Oh, wow.
And his wife is Indian. You know that?
No, we didn't.
I don't know him at all.
I met his wife. She's a Kashmiri Indian who lives in Europe with her husband.
On the Mumbai floods, there was that Imran Hashmi movie that had come out later, which was Tum Mile.
That's
with
right.
Soha Ali Khan. They made a movie out of the deluge. Didn't watch it, had good songs though. The Imran Hashmi movie always had good songs.
Among other things, yes.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't know Hindi, then you'll just say that as Tum Mile, right?
Yeah, Tum Mile.
Tum Mile.
I would love to see a film called Tum Mile. How many miles? Tum Mile.
Tum Mile.
Saurabh, you have one fun fact to share?
Seher was based on a real life story, and Sushant's character was based on a UP underworld called Shri Prakash Shukla. And there was a web series also based on Shri Prakash Shukla, which was called Rangbaz, and it was starring Saqib Saleh. It's on Z5.
Yeah.
That's a great piece of trivia. Actually, I mean, the lead is the cop, and the cop is also a super cop in UP, if I'm not mistaken. I forget his name.
Yes.
Siddharth Mishra, who used to be a radio jockey, wrote Rangbaz, right? The script for Rangbaz. I think so.
Oh, wow.